Hello students, I am Dr. Amit Bhatnagar, working as Senior Research Officer in the Department of Agronomy at GB Pant, University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar, Uttarakhand. Now topic is soils prevalent in rainfed areas. It is very important topic for rainfed agriculture, and different type of soil occur in rainfed areas. So first of all, we should understand what are rainfed areas. So rainfed areas are those areas where total cultivation means sowing and tillage, irrigation, all the things are dependent on rainfall. So rainfed areas, the cultivation practices, crop production is totally dependent on rains. If rains are good, then production is good. If rain deficit, then production is poor. So in this area, irrigation facilities are not available in general. So that's why the dependence is on the rainfall pattern and distribution. Secondly, soil decide the crop performance. So soil type and the climatic conditions are very important. So that's why if we want to increase the production in rainfed area, this soil conservation and water conservation is necessary. So we should know what are the properties which are prevalent in rainfed areas and what are the problems associated with this soil, so that we can manage our crop production. So next is soil. So soil is classified on several bases, but the US classification is based on a system where soil is classified as an order, next is suborder, then further divided into grade group, then subgroup, family and series. So this is the system: order, suborder, grade group, subgroup, family and series. So according to order, there are 12 orders in general, but in rainfed area, these 7 are prominent, and alphisol, vertisol, antisol, inceptisol, aridisol, mollisol and oxysols. So these are the major, and the alphisol and vertisol dominate. And the reason in our country or state, in which state this occur, actually these alphisols occur in semi-arid area of Deccan Plateau, and this is the area of this Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Similarly, these vertisols occur in semi-arid Deccan Plateau, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, not in Tamil Nadu, but Maharashtra, MP and adjoining state. These are the major states. And these antisols occur in arid region of this Rajasthan, Gujarat and Haryana. And insectisols occur in humid and semi-humid area. Now there may be confusion that is there humid and sub-humid area. Actually, this rainfed area means the area where cultivation is dependent on rain. So rain may be high, may be poor, may be good. So it doesn't matter what is the amount of the rainfall. Maybe 2000 mm, maybe 3000 mm, or maybe 300 mm. If there is no irrigation facility and rainfall is 3000 mm, suppose, then it is considered as rainfed area. So it means the rainfed area may be classified as a arid depending upon the rainfall amount, arid, semi-arid, then humid and subhumid, and thus this humid may be dry or wet depending upon the rainfall amount and the humid. So this rainfed area can be divided into depending on the rainfall. In arid area, very less rainfall; semi-arid, less rainfall; subhumid, medium rainfall; and humid, high rainfall, very high rainfall. So humid, subhumid, arid, semi-arid area are categorized on the basis of the amount of rainfall. And the rainfed area is the characteristic of the area whether cultivation is dependent on rainfall or not. अगर किसी एरिया में सारा cultivation practices केवल रेनफॉल पे ही डिपेंड हो रहा है, हम उसको पानी को स्टोर करके ही इरिगेशन कर रहे हैं, पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं, टैंक बना रहे हैं, तो वो एरिया रेनफेड एरिया में आता है. इरिगेटेड एरिया में इरिगेशन फैसिलिटी रहती है, कैनाल है, ट्यूबवेल है, उनको हम इरिगेट कर सकते हैं। तो रेनफेड एरिया ये नहीं है कि रेनफॉल अगर ज़्यादा होगी तो रेनफेड एरिया नहीं होगा, अगर रेनफॉल 2000 mm हो रही है वो भी रेनफेड एरिया होगा, अगर वहाँ इरिगेशन फैसिलिटी नहीं है। जैसे हिली एरियाज़ में नॉर्थ ईस्ट में रेंज बहुत ज़्यादा होती हैं लेकिन वहाँ इरिगेशन फैसिलिटी नहीं है तो रेनफेड एरिया में आएंगे। लेकिन रेनफॉल कितना रेनफॉल हो रहा है उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम उस एरिया को डिवाइड कर सकते हैं एरिड, सेमी एरिड, सब ह्यूमिड और ह्यूमिड में। So that's why humid and sumid area in Septisol, and this occur in Uttar Pradesh. Then aridisol, as name indicate arid, so it is in arid area and West Rajasthan, Gujarat and Haryana, and the Anantapur region in Andhra Pradesh. Anantapur. This region is arid in Andhra Pradesh. Then mollysols developed under the influence of vegetation and forest, and they occur in humid and subhumid. And these occur actually in forest area, and so in Tarai area of UP and Uttarakhand, mollysols occur. These are very highly productive soil. And oxysols are highly weathered soil, and they occur in semi-arid region, we can say semi-arid region in Jharkhand and Odisha. For now it is Odisha. So these are the regions. So it is semi-arid, then this is arid, insectisol humid subhumid, aridisol arid, mollysols humid and subhumid, oxysols semi-arid, and these are the different states. So this order is based on the soil properties. They have different soil properties, so problems are different in these soils. Now what are the problems in these soils? You see in alphisols, actually this alphisol problem is that the crust problem, crusting, surface crust is very common problem. Surface crust, then surface become dry surface become hard. This is the problem in alphisol. Then these are weak structure, so weak soil structure, so weathering is there, leaching is there. So this is the problem in alphisol. If we see the total overall soil, almost the soils are poor in fertility, poor in nutrient, organic matter content, susceptible to erosion. These are the common problem, but these are the specific problem in the alphisoil. This surface crust formation, and when the soil is dry, surface become hard, and another is weak soil structure. And in case of this vertisols, problem is that it has high clay content, 30 to 70%. So high swelling and shrinkage. So this is of high swelling and shrinkage. The problem is that initial infiltration is good, then as the rains are there, water infiltrate into the soil, then clay swell, and there is clogging of the pores, and then infiltration rate reduces. So there is surface runoff. So this is the problem, surface runoff. This is the problem in this vertisol. Another problem is that it makes deep cracks, and on drying, they make a large mass hard clot. So very energy is required to break the clots. So massive structure, make a massive structure, hard structure, and hard to tillage. So these are the problem with the vertisols. But the positive point with the vertisols is that these are deep soil, and water holding capacity is good because of high clay content. But there is surface runoff. So most of the amount of rainfall is wasted as surface runoff because of reduction in infiltration. Then in case of anti-soil, the major problem is of poor nutrient and low organic matter content, and high wind erosion, as here Rajasthan, Gujarat, high wind erosion is there. Then in case of incepti soil, there is a humid and semi-humid region. So rainfall intensity sometimes become high and rainfall amount is good. So runoff problem is there, water erosion is there, and poor organic matter and nutrient content are the problem. In arid soil, the problem is same as in case of as in case of anti-soil, but this is the west Rajasthan region and Anandpur region, particularly in west region and some parts of Gujarat, problem of desertification, problem as poor nutrient, already problem, low organic matter content, these are the common problem, but the specific with this arid soil is the desertification, in this desertification, deserts are there, wind erosion is there, and soils are sandy, and secondary salinization. This is the important problem. Secondary salinization. Secondary salinization means in natural salinization, salts are present in soil and they come to the soil surface through capillary rise. So there is natural source of salt. But in secondary salinization, salinity occurs due to human activity. For example, if there is a shallow water table, canal irrigation. So because of canal irrigation, there is a seepage. And because of seepage, water table rises, it becomes shallow. Then there is no leaching of the salt. So it creates this salinity. So in canal irrigated area, nearby area is saline. So this is the secondary salinization. Second is that if we are using poor quality water, saline water for irrigation, then it creates the salinity. So this is the problem of desertification, wind erosion and secondary salination beside the poor nutrient and low organic matter content. In molly soils, they are highly productive soil, high organic matter content, fertility is very good and very good for the intensive crop cultivation and occur in Tarai region of UP and Uttarakhand. The problem is that there is subsurface hard layer. Subsurface hard layer. So it create the anaerobic condition, water logging, and then loss of soil organic carbon because of intensive cultivation, and structure is weak. Now aggregation problem, aggregate stability is the problem, aggregate stability, and in this region water erosion is the problem, water erosion. And in case of oxysols, these are highly weathered soil, and weathering is highly weathered soil, so because leaching is there, low nutrient content, low organic matter content, and fertility is poor. So highly degraded oxysoils are highly degraded soil, so productivity and fertility is very poor. So these are the different soil orders and the reason and the associated problems. So major are alphisol, vertisol, anti and inceptisol, and in some area aridi and molly soils and oxysols. So these soil in Rainfed areas, and these are the associated problems. And most of the soil, the problems are common. Low organic matter content, low nutrient content, low water holding capacity, leaching, and poor fertility. So these problems of these areas can be categorized in three groups, in physical, chemical, and the biological properties. So it can be summarized as, in brief, the physical constraint of physical problem, physical soil physical constraints we can say problem, or chemical and the biological. So in case of this physical problem, the major problem is the structure. Actually these are coarse structure, coarse, coarse texture, coarse to medium texture soil. So that's why leaching is there, low water holding capacity, but exception is black cotton soil, that is vertisol. water holding capacity is high, and that shallow soil depth is low, but exception is this one. This is the exception. Black cotton soils are deep, and then infiltration is low infiltration. So that's why the water poor retention of water, and leaching is more leaching, high leaching. So when we apply the nutrient, it got lost, and these are the major physical problem. And the surface crusting problem, this is very common in alphy soils, and hard surface, and in case of this chemical properties, the low organic matter content. So this is the major problem. Because of why there is a low organic matter content? Because vegetation is poor. And this vegetation is responsible for the organic matter. So this low organic matter sustain the fertility, and because of this fertility, vegetation is there, and vegetation continue to low organic matter. And why this is low vegetation? Because of climate plus soil condition. So climate, particularly high temperature, low rainfall, and soil are poor in fertility, it contribute to poor vegetation, then it contribute to low organic matter. And because of this low organic matter, nutrient content are low, less nutrient content, we can say, less nutrient content, whether it is macronutrient or micronutrient. Then CEC, cation exchange capacity, is also low because of highly weathered, soil cannot retain. Then salinity is more, but this salinity is high in case of arid and semi-arid region, only arid and semi-arid. Then acidity, acidic soil, it occurs in humid area where there is a excess rain, high rain. So because of high rain, basic cations like calcium and magnesium leach down, and because of leaching of calcium and magnesium, there is a dominance of iron and aluminum, and this iron and aluminum create the acidity when they react with the water. So this is the problem. In high rainfall area, there is a leaching of calcium and magnesium and dominance of aluminum, iron. So this is the problem. And the buffering capacity is low. Low buffering capacity means to resist the change in pH. So because of this high salinity, they sometimes show the high pH. So pH is more because of this salinity. Then biological properties, poor microbial activity. Poor microbial activity is due to low organic matter content. So biological activity are less, so that's why the nutrient transformation is less, soil aggregation is poor, and these microbes are responsible for mineralization and the other process. So soil is not in healthy condition. Actually, microbes create the favorable condition for the soil structure by binding the particles. They help in soil fertility by nutrient transformation and secretes many beneficial compounds like antibiotics and the other compounds which increases the growth of the plant. So because of this poor microbial activity, the soil fertility is poor. So these are the common constraints for the crop production, and because of these constraints, the effect on crop, we see the effect on crop, we see then crop. Now there is a tillage problem, because of this hard crust, and hard surface, high clay content, tillage problem. Then sowing problem, and surface, because of this crusting, there is an emergence in problem. Then restricted root growth is poor because of hard layers are there, shallow soil, and fertility is low. So this is the problem. Then shoot growth is poor. So overall growth is poor. Intercultivations are very difficult, and because of this Low water holding capacity, the water management is difficult, nutrient management is difficult because we have to apply all the nutrients with the organic matter because these are deficient in these nutrients. So because of this problem, we face such type of problem starting from tillage to the root growth, shoot growth, nutrient availability, water availability. So these are the soils which are prevalent in rainfed area and their reason and associated problem and the major constraints, physical, chemical and biological constraints. We can say these are the constraints and these are the effect on the cultivation practices. So this was about the soils which prevalent in rainfed areas. Thank you very much.